Hello, welcome to our team news. My name is Emmanuel Akurada, and we'll be taking a look at the stories coming in our news for tonight. Tshwane City Manager giving extension as a separation agreement still not signed. Embarrassed, the Tshwane City Manager Moeketsi Mosola will not be vacating his office as per a settlement agreement, which he still has not signed. DA Provincial Leader John Modi previously said the city and Mosola were set to part ways at the end of July after a mutual settlement agreement was reached in a closed sitting of the council last week. However, a statement published on Wednesday by the office of Tshwane Mayor Stevens noted the separation agreement had still not been finalized. The city of Tshwane has granted the city manager Dr. Moeketsi Mosola special leave, the statement read. This means that the city manager remains in his position until August 30, 2019, subject to finalizing the separation agreement. Staying in this segment, MP set a September date to discuss public protectors' future. Parliament will officially discuss and map out a way forward regarding public protector Bosisiwe Mkhwebane's tenure after a formal request to review her fitness to hold office. The DA asked the National Assembly Speaker Thandi Modise to urgently consider an inquiry into Mkhwebane's tenure, which was referred to the Portfolio Committee on Justice in June. These despite ANC Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte saying the party's National Executive Committee had not discussed what position it caucus in Parliament should take on the embargo to the public protector. The committee has received communications from the Office of the Speaker regarding a request to look into the fitness of Advocate Bosisiwe Mkhwebane, public protector to hold office. Committee Chairperson Bulenani said in a statement. And taking a look at the last story coming in South Africa, third suspect arrested in Ukrainian terrorist murder case. A third suspect was arrested yesterday in connection with the murder of Ukrainian tourist Ivan Ivanov while hiking above Chappers Peak Drive in Hot Bay, Cape Town. According to Western Cape Police, the 27-year-old suspect was arrested on the same day as the second suspect who was arrested at Hot Bay Harbour in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Ivanov, 44, a husband and father of 3, had been in the country on business and was on a 2-day break in Hot Bay. He was robbed and stabbed to death near East Fort, a popular tourist site on Chapman's Peak, on Saturday morning. After the short break, we'll be taking a look at the rest of African stories. Stay tuned.
Education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi. Education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the stories coming in this segment. Visiting Ghana's famed slave dungeon was transformative, Pelosi says. United States House Speaker Nancy Pelosi described as a transformative experience the time spent in Ghana's coastal city of Cape Coast as part of her official visit to the West African country. Pelosi told the lawmakers in an address on Wednesday that visiting the Cape Coast castle located in the central region was revealing not only for her but for the congregational team she led to the site. The Cape Coast castle, we stood before the door of no return where countless millions caught the last glimpse of Africa before they were shipped to a life of enslavement. Being here has been a transformative experience for all of us, Pelosi said in her address, which was broadcast on state television. Still in this segment, Kenya calls on UN to formally list Al-Shabaab as a terrorist group. Kenya believes that if the United Nations formally classifies Somali militia group Al-Shabaab as a terrorist group, then there would be more action on combating the extremists. According to the report by the East African, Kenya will be submitting a formal request to the UN Security Council to list the Somali militia as a terrorist organization as part of its effort to combat the extremists. We will formally be submitting a request seeking UAE's support in listing Al-Shabaab under UN Resolution 1267. This is important to bring the global effort in tackling the group, said Kenya's Foreign Affairs Minister Macharia Kamau. Taking a look at the last story coming in this segment, prisoners go on hunger strike in Egypt. Amnesty International says 130 detainees in a notorious Egyptian prison have been on hunger strike for more than 6 weeks to protest what it calls cruel and inhuman detention conditions. The international rights group yesterday called on authorities to investigate the prisoners' allegation of torture and other abuses. Magala Amnesty Middle East and North Africa Deputy Director says the combination of squalid and inhuman detention conditions and the denial of family visit and access to their lawyers has created an unbearable situation for detainees. The detainees are being held at a Cairo prison known as the Scorpion, where a number of political figures have been jailed over the course of a sweeping crackdown on dissent in recent years. Calls to the Interior Ministry spokesperson requesting comment went unanswered. The statement reads. After the short break, we'll be taking a look at the rest of African stories in Nigeria. Stay tuned.
Programs were education and entertainment for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at the stories coming in our Nigerian stories for tonight. Don't frame article, PDP ties APC. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party yesterday warned the All Progressive Congress against any attempt to frame up its presidential candidate in the February election, Atiku Abubakar, over his comments on national issues. It is said it had taken note of the statement by the APC warning Atiku against making comments on the state of the nation, and that his patriotic reactions to pressing national issues amounted to a felony. The PDP National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kola, in a statement on Wednesday, stated that Atiku's comments on national issues were within his constitutional right of freedom of speech, not only as a citizen of Nigeria, but as a former vice president, as well as the leader and presidential candidate. Staying in Nigeria, Boris Johnson appointed Nigerian UK-born in his cabinet. It is the first cabinet since taking over the leadership of the Conservative Party and becoming the United Kingdom Prime Minister. Boris Johnson named a UK-born Nigerian as one of his junior ministers. 39-year-old Kemi Badenoch, full name Oluwakemi Olufonto Badenoch, was named the new Minister of Children and Families by the new PM. The official role title is Parliamentary Undersecretary of State for Children and Families. Among her key responsibilities is to man the Department for Education, which is an outfit principally responsible for child protection, education, apprenticeship, and wider skills in England. Kemi, before her July 27 appointment, remains a sitting member of Parliament for the Saffron Walden constituency. Many Nigerians have expressed excitement at the development, congratulating her on her appointment via social media. And in the last story coming in this segment, we will use highway cameras to curb banditry, says Buhari. The federal government, as a part of effort to stop killing and kidnapping by herdsmen, plans to install closed-cycle television cameras on the highways in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari disclosed this during a closed-door meeting at the presidential Villa Abuja with the Southwest traditional rulers led by the Oba Adeyeye. Buhari, who stated that the country's security architecture would be restructured, also said the drones would be deployed in areas worst hit by banditry and kidnapping in collaboration with the state government. He started working with the state government also. We intend to beef up the equipping of the police force with advanced technology and equipment that can facilitate the work of the security agencies. After the short break, we'll be taking a look at our international stories. Stay tuned.
Programs education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
You're still watching RTM News. The U.S. believes Osama bin Laden's son Hamza is dead, official report says. The United States believe that Hamza bin Laden, a son of slain Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden and himself a notable figure in the militant group, is dead, a U.S. official said yesterday. The U.S. official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, provided no further details, including when Hamza died or where. President Donald Trump earlier yesterday declined to comment after NBC News first reported the U.S. U.S. assessment. Asked if he had intelligence that bin Laden's son had been killed, Trump told reporters, "I don't want to comment on it." Separately, the White House declined comment on whether any announcement was imminent. Staying in this segment, Israeli forces kill armed Palestinian who infiltrated from Gaza. Israeli soldiers shot and killed a Palestinian after he crossed the border from Gaza and fired at the troops, wounding 3 of them, the Israeli military said. During the incident, a military statement said an Israeli tank targeted a post belonging to Hamas, the Palestinian armed group that runs the Gaza Strip. There were no immediate reports of any Palestinian casualties as a result of the tank fire. In the statement, the military said an assailant fired at the troops after he infiltrated through Israel's security fence along the Gaza frontier. The troops responded with fire towards him, resulting in the assailant's death, it said. An officer who was moderately injured and 2 other combat soldiers were lightly injured as a result of the attackers' fire. Still in this segment, Bolsonaro says the Brazil deforestation data to be compared for accuracy. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro yesterday said satellite data regarding deforestation of the Amazon rainforest collected by government space research agency would be compared to reach more exact numbers, as a preliminary data from INPE showed the deforestation soaring in recent weeks. Bolsonaro has accused the agency of falsifying data and called for tighter control over the numbers. And those are all the stories we have for you in this segment. After a short break, we'll be taking a look at our sports stories. Stay tuned.
Programs education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives is our focus. For quality programs, Wahi, education and entertainment, for spiritual messages uplifting your soul. We are here. Redemption Television Ministries, redeeming lives.
Thank you so much for staying with us, and let's take a look at the stories coming in our sports stories for tonight. And starting with the preseason, Chelsea's good form continue as they beat Salzburg 5-3. Christian Pulisic netted his first Chelsea goals, and Pedro scored a superb backheel volley as the Blues claimed a 5-3 preseason win at RB Salzburg. Pulisic produced 2 neat finishes in the first half, either side of winning a penalty scored by Ross Barkley. Jerome Ongwane pulled one back just after the break before Pedro's ingenious backheel finish. Michy Batshuayi struck the Blues' 5th, sandwiched between 2 Takumi Minamino goals for Salzburg. Staying in the preseason, Tottenham Hotspur beat Bayern Munich on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Tottenham finished the preseason with a penalty shootout win over Bayern Munich in the Audi Cup final after a 2-2 draw. Spurs led 2-0 up as Eric Lamela slid in to convert George Kevin's low cross at the back Post and Christian Eriksen drilled in a second for Spurs, but Bayern came back thanks to goals from teenagers Jean Fierte and Alphonso Davies, who leveled with a fantastic 25-yard Collie effort. Paulo Gazzaniga saved from David Alaba and Jerome Boateng in the shootout. Staying in the sports story, Gunners beat Angers on penalties in penultimate pre-season friendly. Liam Nelson was on target as Arsenal drew 1-1 with Angers before beating the French side on penalties in their penultimate preseason game. Nelson, 19, followed up a saved shot from Eddie Nketiah to level after Farid Melari's opener for the home side. Substitute Pierre Aubameyang had a late goal ruled out for offside, and Emiliano Martinez saved the decisive penalty from ex-Gunners Jeff Red Adelaide to give Arsenal a 4-3 win in the shootout. And taking a look at the last story coming in our sports story, Women's World Cup. FIFA expands the 2023 tournament to 32 teams. The Women's World Cup will increase from 24 to 32 teams for the next tournament in 2023. FIFA says it has made the decision following the outstanding success of this summer's World Cup in France. 9 countries are expected to submit bids to host the tournament when the process opens on 4th of October this year. FIFA President Gianni Infantino says the aim is to keep the momentum going and take concrete steps to foster the growth of women's football. And those are all the stories we have for you in our news for tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. See you again tomorrow, same time, same station. Do have a wonderful evening.
Redemption,